Hello, traders, and happy Friday. My name is Anna, and I have Devet with me here today. We're going to have live trading room. We're going to talk about the chart. We are going to discuss the price action, what we had this week. And yeah, I hope everything is great. It's Friday, right? How can it not be
Yay,
great?
Friday.
Hey, Friday. So yeah, hopefully all is well, all is good. Devet, how was your week? Tell us about maybe the weather is better where you are finally.
No, the week was good. It was a very busy week. Work-wise, there was a lot happening and so many meetings and stuff happening.
Mhm.
So lately I've been trying my hand at trading the Asian session. So that's
Mhm.
early morning hours for me. So I get up very early. But the benefit from that is that it's quiet. There's no distractions. There's no phone calls. There's no nothing. And I have to say that it went really well, considering it was a good week. And then I did try one day I did try out different strategies, playing around a little bit. But all in all, having a schedule where I trade in the mornings undisturbed, I just again realized the importance of having being able to sit and focus and
Mm.
not being distracted by anything else, even though it's in the early morning hours here in South
What?
Africa.
How early you talking? What is the early morning hour? I'm just curious.
So it's 3:30 a.m. to 4:30 a.m.
Ah! Oh
and
my
then, and then I
goodness.
and then I go back to sleep.
And then you go back to sleep. Nice.
But
Oh
I've
my
tried it
goodness.
now. I've tried it now for I started last week Friday and this week, and
Mhm.
you get in a routine. It's worth
Yeah.
waking up if you know you're going to be able to sit and focus on the charts and not be distracted by anything else. So I'm
Yeah.
trying it out, see if it works. Because a lot of the challenges that I face is trading without being distracted or
Mm.
attention divided by other things. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm sure many people can relate to that. As when you do a job, you need to be able to focus 100% on it. It's no different
Mhm.
with trading as well. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds and if I can maintain it. And with the baby coming, I'm sure I'm going to be awake in any way that hours of the morning. So might
Yes.
as well put it to use or get into the routine of waking up early. So,
Yeah.
and how's your
Lovely.
week been?
Oh my. The week was good. Interesting things happening in the market. So and yeah, and I mean this week I feel like it just went by so quickly. I don't know why.
Mm,
Maybe because we're towards the end of July, so we're like really closing the next week. We're going to close the month, right? And somehow for me, it just always feel like the end of the month goes sooner. You know, like
yes.
not sooner, faster. That's what it is. But yeah, other than that, like interesting what's happening in the market. Really interesting to see how the gold was pushing so high and Bitcoin going through the moon, like through the roof to the moon. That's like probably the favorite thing to say. Although I think we're pulling back a little bit now, but no,
Mm,
altogether like okay-ish week in the market, and I'm more excited for the next week, to be honest, just to see the closing candles on the monthly and see what
yes.
the month of August holds for us. And yeah, and then it's I don't know, like I feel like it's exciting times what's gonna come next because I feel like finally markets are kind of stabilizing in the sense
Mm,
how they were behaving before and how they're behaving now. So I think we're
now
just
is
kind of adjusting. So but yeah, anyhow, also yesterday I did a great webinar on how to trade zones. So that was like kept really, really simple strategy approach in there. I talked about, support resistance and all that. And maybe I can just, kind of walk you through what I did. Um,
oh,
and
lovely.
um,
Kind of a recap
and
in the webinar.
yeah, like a short recap of the webinar. But basically what we did in there, I was like just trying to keep it simple because I think so many strategies that traders trade, they are overcomplicated and it's so easy to get confused on
Mm,
what's actually happening in the market and we're just overcomplicating stuff. But we already touched on this before and in our live streams, David, because
mm,
I think keeping it simple and easy to understand is really going to benefit the trader. If you have a checklist longer than your hand, then it's not great. So, and anyhow, and the
No.
webinar was more for the traders who just wanted to try and see how the zones are working. And
Mm.
again, it's always kind of hard to do these things where you give them, you know, almost like a strategy. I'm doing this because it's not really a strategy, it's more like an approach. And then I say
Approaches.
you can make it, yeah, and you can make it your own. So
Mm.
basically we were just talking about you know, how to draw the zones, because there are like different ways how you can use this approach. You can, you know, set the highs, set the lows. This is EU chart, by the way. This is 4 hours, and you can set your highs, you can set your lows on the chart, and then you can use, I love using this tool, the highlighter, where for example I'm counting, you know, and looking at the places where the price has been, you know, the most, and then using the rectangle tool, then you can decide, you know, where to put that zone in there. And
Mm.
then we were talking about how we should or should not include the wicks. It's really up to you. Like, do you want to include the wick? Do you not want to include the wick? So it's really up to the traders. And that's why I say you need to make it your own. This approach, yes, it's going to be like we're going to trade zones, but you're making it your own, with the idea that you can decide, you know. Also, another thing I touched on, this is a really super fast recap, is like the range of the zone, right? How big is the zone? Because if your zone is going to look like this, you are going to struggle, because like this is a big zone. So, and to find a
Yes.
trade from here, you are just going to struggle. Or maybe you're not going to struggle, you're just going to be really more almost like a position trader, holding your trades for months, you know. But then you need to consider swaps, you need to consider, you know, different political events that's going on in the world, and it might just not move your way. And I mean, yeah, it can get a bit overwhelming as well.
Mm.
So yeah, and we just really talked about how we can use like different things that helps you to find these zones. And also I talked about, you know, how to keep things simple, and just try and find these areas that you see that there is, you know, a zone in there, and then you can say, you know, what is it that you want to do, and how is it that you want to trade, like how do you want to find your zones. Like, do you want to include the wicks, not include the wicks? Do you want to focus on the range? And yeah, and then just try and see the reaction. You know, what's going to happen. So, and so far, it looks like, you know, it's. I mean, Euro USD is finally moving in a way where it just makes sense.
Yes.
And that's a like it's interesting to see. That's why I said I'm excited actually to see how the markets keep on moving,
Mm.
because it's just one of those times it feels like, yes, market has this crazy volatility, crazy uncertainty,
Mm.
but we still have like a lot of uncertainty in front of us, right? You never know what's going to happen. However, it just feels suddenly the market is moving just much better. Yeah, just much nicer range. And yeah, and we'll see what's gonna happen. But also I did mention two favorite things that I use when it comes to zone trading is the two patterns of like this pattern here, which is, can you tell me what is this pattern? Let's play a game. What is
double
this?
double top.
Double top, yes. So, and then obviously another pattern is the double bottom. So, you
Mm.
know, like that. And I find like these two patterns go really well with the zone trading, um because I don't know why it's doing that highlighter here. I find it good because it just gives that extra confirmation. And this is what I
Yes.
talked about as well, is that we can see the zones as a trader. You can find these zones, but then it's like, where do you find your confirmation? And that's actually that just the secret sauce,
Mm.
just
It's
the,
your
you
personal
know,
confirmation on the
it's the
confirmation that you
first.
wait for. Mm.
Absolutely. It's that personal confirmation that you find. And like for myself, as a trader myself, I use 15-minute confirmation. So for example, this candle right here would be my confirmation to sell, because we almost touched the zone, right? We came
Mm.
to this area, and we almost touched the zone.
Would that
And
be
my
bad for you, even if it
yes.
didn't touch the zone?
Yeah, it would be still
Okay.
valid for me, even if it didn't touch the zone, because um, I mean, if this would go sideways, like, right, so let's say if this
Mm,
would not work and something like that would happen, right, where, I'm in the trade and then trade comes and does this, I would
mm,
try and look for reentry when the double
okay.
top forms. Or,
Mm,
if this doesn't happen, then I'd be trying to go and see if we can break, come for a retest, and then
yes.
enter my trade in here.
Okay.
So just yeah, just also like another thing that I talked about is really how we see the zone and what's happening, like to try and understand, like in this here, right, that's our resistance, and
Mm,
then once it's broken it becomes our support. So now this is the support area. So
yes.
basically that's how we can say, 50-50, what's going to happen. Either we're going to go to this support retest, right, or we can break it and go lower. And if it doesn't happen, if we don't go to here, right, then another potential is that we come to here for retest and go lower, or we break this, come for a retest and go
Mm,
higher. But this is I think this is the easy part when it comes to just, let's just put some arrows in there. Let's just try and see, what's
yeah.
happening. I mean, this is the easy part. This is easy. I mean, everyone who can see the charts, they
Everyone
can
can
put
do that.
yeah, lines, rectangles in there. This is easy to see, but where that secret sauce is, like to figure out what kind of confirmation you can use, then
Mm,
to say, this is actually a good profitable strategy, and this all makes sense.
yes.
So and this that's what I'm like. I was like trying to keep it simple, but also give the opportunity to traders to use these zones, but make them like into their own
Yes.
strategy. We talked about also a little bit about the limit orders, how you can use the limit orders,
Mm,
how you can use the market orders. Me personally, I prefer market orders because I feel in that way I get more confirmation. But
yes.
also from here, let's say you could have put the limit order from here, right? You just
Mm,
put the limit order and then you wait. If the price is touching you, coming to here,
mm,
tags you into sales, that's great. But I also touched a little bit how the limit orders can be the emotional, like the heavy emotion reaction distributors because
yes.
I know it's crazy, but if something like this happens where you almost get tagged and then just price drops to your TP, you
Yes.
will go on emotional spiral.
I've
And
seen that.
I've seen it happen. I've seen people go absolutely wild when they're almost there, triggered, and then it doesn't trigger and just goes your way. So
Or
definitely
you
there
enter too soon, or you think it's not going to hit your entry limit, so then you enter
soon.
prematurely, and
Yeah.
then it enters your trigger. You forget to remove the trigger, and it enters your trigger again as well.
Oh, and you're
But
double exposure
then you're
now. You're
double
in double.
exposure.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, look at that. The traders understand traders. This is also another thing I say. The traders do get traders, and I've always say as well that there's nothing new under the sun that I haven't done. So whatever Devet says, it's like, yes, Devet, I've been there. I've done it. We're the
Yeah,
same. We're buddies.
we've been there.
We understand each other. But anyhow, so that was like the webinar, overview. If you go to your dashboard to the webinars, Academy webinars, you actually will be able to see that webinar. You just need to register for it. And once you register, you will be able to watch it. And it was about 45-ish minutes. So I tried to keep it just, as short as I could because
Mm,
zones, it's such a wide topic. And you can just, I mean,
yes.
I love talking. You can just talk and talk and talk about the trading zones because it's really a great topic. But yeah, you can go into your dashboard, register, and then you can go and watch it in there. But anyhow, David, what's up with your charts? What is it that you can show us?
Actually, the one day you spoke about zones, and I was
Yeah.
thinking about, or your confirmation, and I was thinking about the way I use VWAPs.
Hmm.
And then it got me thinking, what if I add a VWAP on the engulfment candle on the 50-minute time frame and look for an entry at the retest of the VWAP, right?
Hmm.
So if this was your zone, or your
Hmm.
zone just quickly to 4 hour, okay. I'm not good at drawing zones, but let's say,
Hmm.
was that your zone? Is that a zone? No.
Are you in replay section? Because
No,
it feels
this is EU on the 4 hour.
Oh, 736. Yeah. My zone was just a bit
Yes, it
higher,
looks just more or
180.
less,
Yeah, 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 more or less. Yeah.
more or less this. Okay, but let's say this is your zone, and I'm going down to the 15-minute time frame,
Mm-hmm.
and so this would have been the trade, right? This engulfing candle.
Yeah.
Okay, if I plot a fib on it there, view up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious then. So now this view up is calculating from that engulfment. If the engulfment is the signal for sell, in my head, as long as it respects the view up, it's short. You see how we
Mm-hmm.
come back into it, respect it again. We created
Yeah.
another engulfment, come back and retest it again. So that would, for me, if we talk then about entry criteria from zones, that would be an approach that I would potentially use. If
Mm-hmm.
my entry signal is engulfments or pin hammers or double tops or double bottoms, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
place a view up on it and see as long as price is below it, we're still selling, we're going lower. And each new engulfment,
Mm-hmm.
after a touch, we add a new view up and we see how price respect it. So that's just something interesting that I thought about um,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of entries. Someone might find some value in it. My AM session, very early morning trade this morning,
Very
was
early.
on UJ. This one took a bit of time because I woke up at 3:30, which was right there, more or less. And so I'm looking for a higher low to be taken out with a inverse fair value gap created.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had to sit through all of this consolidation and then noted, okay, there was a high. It took out the high, broke down, gave that inverse fair value gap. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, inverse fair value gap is just a fair value gap that gets disrespected, traded through completely with this candle, and then that becomes like resistance area, right? So stop loss above the high, entry at the inverse fair value gap.
Mm-hmm.
So this trade was a pretty good trade, and I entered it, and then I went back to sleep. And then this morning, when I woke up, eventually I saw, okay, we hit TP, so that was nice.
That's the best way to wake up, right? With the
Yeah,
TP.
but I was so tired I couldn't even worry if it's going to be a stop loss. I was like, I've set it, I've set my risk. I'm going to go to bed now, sleep
Yeah.
further another few hours, and then see what happens. So in that sense, early trading is good because you set it. But yeah, okay. On another topic. Then I saw this in Frankfurt, a very similar setup. So we've traded through this double bottom,
Lows.
the swing
Yeah.
lows, and then um, just waiting for price to create that inverse fair value gap. So if
Mm-hmm.
so, my the way I think about this is that if price is going to continue lower, we're going to trade back into this fair value gap and then
Mm-hmm.
continue lower. If we understand the logic of fair value gaps,
Yeah.
but seeing that we disrespect it, that then becomes an area that I would want to see a retest of and continuation up, um, which we got a nice quick trade right there. Pulled back, so I was out there, and then when I got to the charts now, nice massive rally for the day. But the setup was there; it was executed on. And other than that, the great thing about the morning trading is that you take your trades, and then I don't look at the charts for the rest of the day. So all that
Mm.
mental capacity is saved up for your next training session. So in the past, or often, I would find myself looking at trades quite often, or looking at the charts, trying to get something, or maybe have missed something, or
Yeah.
how can I capitalize on the trade. But having a this morning hour to trade, and then not being burdened by the charts for the rest of the day was quite good. So I can't really speak about the flow of how everything played out
Mm-hmm.
during the week because I didn't look at the charts at all. But usually my approach with daily analysis is, if I do a daily analysis, I like to, on the daily, see, are we reacting off of fair value gaps to go higher or lower? So in this
Mm.
case, on gold, we had this bullish fair value gap, traded into it, but we didn't respect it. If I say respect, we didn't trade into it and give a bullish reaction. So that's
Oh,
already
yeah.
kind of first sign that this fair value gap might not hold. So I can't
Mhm.
necessarily expect bullish price action from this level going higher. If we now close below this fair value gap, let's say this candle closes bearish, then I think there's a good opportunity that we could potentially either come back up and respect a new fair value gap created over here and
And
then
then move over.
continue
Mhm.
lower. So that's more or less the approach that I would use doing my daily analysis. In this
Mhm.
case, here we had another bullish fair value gap. We trade into it. My first instinct or my analysis would be then that if we respect this bullish fair value gap, we would trade up to the previous high. We tried to, failed, eventually went up after we completely violated this fair value gap. So not a great
Mhm.
opportunity there. Same thing over here. The idea would be to, from this bullish fair value gap, see potential higher prices. But we can see
Mhm.
this first candle reacts off of it, ends as an indecision, and the next candle fails to go higher. So that already
Yeah.
tells me that potentially this bullish fair value gap is not going to hold. This is a good example of what you want to see. If we, let's quickly move everything. If we have a bearish fair value gap, right, we want to see trade into, respect it. We can see the wick respecting it. The target would then be the low.
Yeah.
So that would be my area that I would look for a trade in. That is my, call it the context area or the area of tradable opportunity from this internal range liquidity or this internal fair value gap back to the external. So this is now a daily, remember? So if we then drop to the 15-minute, that's then where you can potentially find
There it is. It's almost
tradable
disappeared.
opportunities. So let's say, okay, now let's build a plan around this. Let's say we want to see a potential opportunity around the London session. Let's say we're looking for a engulfment inside the London session or New
Mhm.
York session. We have a strong engulfment there. Okay, let's say our plan is then to place a view up on it. That can then give us potential indication of where price is heading. As long as price is below it, we're short
Mhm.
biased, taking shorts only. We can also then look for new fair value gaps. Right off the bat, we have a bearish fair value gap
Mm.
right
Mhm.
there. We can go short of it. So now we have the daily context, the daily bias for shorts because we're trading from this daily bearish fair value gap, and our target
Mhm.
is the swing low right there, this green box. So we can just move this to the side, and then every bearish fair value gap that we see could be a potential trade opportunity within the limits of session timing. So I do advise to look for these setups within session timings.
Mhm.
We get a new day, and you can see our price aggressively trades to that target. So that is
Target.
how I would typically um, look for trade opportunities in a day. And then also, like I've mentioned countless times before, uh, on having that daily view up. So if get back there on the day that it trades into, we can have a view up on the day and
Mhm.
see how it behaves around it. So yeah, that was just some insights on how I typically look at potential trade opportunities. That is now if I have like a open day where I can sit in front of the charts and look for setups.
Mhm.
But other than that, the very early Asian AM model is simple, looking for a sweep of a high or a low, followed by a inverse fair value gap to take a trade, like we did see on it. UJ was a good example today of those setups.
Do you still trade other pairs though, or is it only like UJ that
No,
you
I
trade?
think UJ and gold. I found that they moved the best in Asia session. the
Yeah.
pound and euro dollar, they don't move well in Asia
Yeah.
sessions, often just consolidation. But
Hmm.
UJ and gold moves relatively well in the Asian session.
Have you looked at
Um,
the GJ? Because obviously GJs
we don't
also
talk
could
about
be.
GJ.
You don't talk about. Okay, that's
It's a
fine. I do
stepsister. It's
understand.
the
Okay.
divorcee.
Uh, we don't talk about GJ. For
No,
those traders who are trading GJ, guys, you're heroes. You are a national treasures. Okay, you need to be treasured and you need to be supported in all ways. But
yeah.
no, I mean, it just obviously, like logically thinking, it would
Yes, no,
make
it will.
sense that
Will move well.
GJ is a great pair to trade
Yes,
on the Asia
Aussie
session
dollar,
because
New Zealand dollar
yeah,
as well. So
yes,
all those pairs
exactly.
that has a yen in,
Hmm.
or the Aussies and the New Zealand dollars, they will also
Yeah,
move quite well. But again,
yeah,
I don't want to look at too many pairs. I think two is enough. Gold
yeah.
and I think gold will be a constant, and then potentially look at something else like USD JPY, pound
Mhm.
yen, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just saw this as well. It's not now in the right timing, but this would be as if this was in the morning. We sweep a previous low, and then we create this uh, fair value gap inverse. So the logic is that if we were to continue lower after we've taken out this low, so that's also often a good. I don't know if you've heard this question, but people want to know when is price sweeping liquidity or sweeping a higher low like
Hmm.
this, and when
Yeah.
is it breaking it and continuing lower? How can we what process or steps can we use to determine that? And I think one of the easiest ways is just to see, is there a bearish fair value gap? Let's look at now swing lows. Is there a bearish fair value gap? If this fair value gaps gets respected and we make a new low
Mm.
right over there, then
Yeah.
chances are that this low is not being swept, but it's being ran, and we're going to see continuation in price.
Okay. Yeah.
But in this case, when we see price do create the bearish fair value gap, and we disrespect it. So we've disrespected it the moment we closed above it in this
Hmm.
candle. We disrespected it completely. Now the bias turns to bullish for me to see price going higher.
Yeah.
And then we note how price now starts to respect the bullish fair value gaps and trades higher. Where to? Well, potentially previous lows, previous highs, sorry. High and another one right up there.
Hmm.
So that is on the 1 minute, but the exact same knowledge can be applied to the daily.
Yeah.
If this is all daily candles, then this would be your bias. If this is a daily closure, then the next 1, 2, 3, well, how many days would all be have a bullish bias until we reach previous highs.
Hmm.
Um, and then you can do the same thing just on the lower time frames.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at, my story.
Your story. Great. Looks great. So, okay. I like the fact that you're now, enjoying your quiet time in the morning and you're getting the trades early on and it feels like it's helping you, which is
Mm.
great. Now the only thing is, you might add some craziness into your routine with the GJ or not. That's okay. But the thing, no, no, no. But the thing is, what I do like when whatever strategy, right? So even when I see the traders trade on 1 minute, I think I always freak out a little bit, essentially,
Mm.
because 1 minute price action, I say, this is full of lies. There's nothing, to hold on. It's just full of lies, nothing, true in there. But I love the fact that you're actually using the higher time frame analysis, right? So the higher time frame is like your where you're going to trade from, but then what you're
Yes.
doing, you're just like getting in from the smaller time frame, which is
Mm.
very, very, very smaller. And sometimes, I don't know if you have had this question, I get asked, is that okay if I do my analysis on like daily, but then I enter on such a low time frame as 1 minute? Does that make sense? Because it like feels
Yes.
like the gap between the analysis time frame and the
Mm.
entry time frame is
Mm.
huge. But I think the
My
easiest answer maybe, well, You answer, and then I'll tell you what my answer
Yeah.
is.
So my first thought is you have to determine, are you a trader that trades a set session, set
Mhm.
period? So if let's say I have only 1 hour to trade in,
Yep.
and it's not going to help me looking at the 15 minute or the 30 minutes, because if I look at the 30 minutes, it's only two candles. 15 minute is
Mhm.
only much five, six, less candles. So
Yep.
if I'm trading, if I have only 1 hour to trade, then I have my high time frame buyers in mind, and I look for those setups on the 1 minute, and it
Mhm.
can work because then you only have that set period of time that you find your trades in. And if it's based off of a higher time frame approach, higher time frame direction, then I do think you can. But if you're just trading on the 1 minute and trading every single thing up and down, well, for some people it's scalping and they have a system
Mhm.
around it. But if you
Mhm.
do it without a system and you just do it for the sake of getting into a trade because you want the thrill of seeing the quick movement, then I think you're trading in like dangerous waters. It could become um, unsustainable.
Mhm.
So my answer is yes, you can trade the 1 minute. I do trade the one
Mhm.
minute, but I wouldn't be trading the 1 minute. Um, let's say you're a waiter or you work at a restaurant. You can't be trading the 1 minute in between waiting on tables. That's just, it's not
Mhm.
going to work. If that is your situation, then I'd say, okay, let's go to the 1 hour, where you only have to check the charts every 1 hour for a
Everyone.
potential
Yeah.
setup. So I think it all depends on your availability and can you focus and be concentrated finding trades on 1 minute, or do you need to look at the 15 minute or the 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and then also personality. I know people that are so hesitant. They just they need a lot of confirmation before they do
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Um, they will rather than be higher time frames. And other people, they are in action, quick personalities, like change, want to see quickly change buyers. They're good at that. So
Yep.
a lower time frame scalping mentality works for them much better.
Mhm.
I think often the most difficult thing is, or that takes the longest in trading, can be just figuring out who you are as a trader. What type of trading personality do you have, and what style suits you best, and then sticking to that. Because often we jump between styles because we're still figuring
Yeah.
out what kind of trader am I, what kind of
Yeah.
trader do I want to be, and that causes a lot of jumping between strategies. So you need to merge what kind of trader you are and you want to be, merge it with what is your circumstances, and do those two overlap. If they don't overlap, then you need to do some serious thinking and reevaluation if trading is going to work for you, because you can't be a scalper by heart in your personality, but your
Mhm.
work life situation does not allow you to scalp. Then you're just going to
Yeah.
be frustrating and get stuck in a rut. So
That's
that's
true.
my 2 cents on it.
Well, thank you for getting into my head. Now, please get out of my head because my answer is very similar to yours. So, when it comes to executing from higher time frames, right? So your analysis is based on higher time frame, but you enter on such a low time frame. It's just like the vet said. It really depends, first of all, on your personality, who you are, not like as a human, but who you are as a trader.
Mm,
And some will laugh, why do I need to know these things? How does that make sense? I think it does, because if you're someone who can control your emotions better, then you're a great scalper, because things are moving fast, everything is happening fast, and your personality is that you actually will do well in that, in an
mm,
environment where things are moving really fast, when everything is just on the speed run all the time. And then another thing is, like, can you actually do it, either like the vet said, if you are going to enter in 15 minutes and you're someone working, I don't know, some industry where you don't have time to look, or every minute, or every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes, whatever the time frame is, right? So it's just like, you need to make sure that you can adapt to your work schedule
mm,
as well. So, but like, all like general answer, like all together, I think as long as your high time frame is like set, you do your like main analysis on the time frame, on higher time frame, and then
mm,
enter on lower time frame. I think as long as it like aligns nicely, and it makes logical sense why you're entering your trades, on the lower time frame. It's just your entries are going to be more specific, and most likely, my entries, sometimes I get the question, Anna, why do you wait for 15-minute like closure?
Mm.
Just
Mm.
enter at your zone. And I'm like, well, no, because I need to, that's my confirmation. I need to wait
Yes.
for the 15-minute closure. And if you're entering on 1 minute, what will happen? 100% actually, what will happen? Your risk reward is going to be bigger. Like your risk reward is
Yes.
going to be bigger than mine, because you will enter at the better price, because the 1 minute
Mm.
price action, within those 15-minute candles will look much, it will be much better. But the thing
Mm.
is, there's also another thing to consider. Maybe 1 minute closures won't work as good as 15-minute closures. And that's why for me, it's always good to enter. And you will see that Anna is entering either on round, on like when it's like 12 o'clock, quarter past, half past, quarter
Mm.
to, or, like the round number. So that's how, and that's because it's like my confirmation.
Yes.
But altogether, it just really different, and it really, really depends on what time frame you choose to enter. But it makes total sense, if you use the higher time frame and then you want to enter on the lower time frame.
Mm.
And yeah, and it just personality really, really depends on the personality. So anyhow, I want to show something, Devet, quickly.
Yes. Go for it.
So this is like really interesting. So this is why I said, I know it's quite messy looking, but this is what I said, that the market is starting to move just a little bit better. So
I
it's like the
see.
zones are getting respected just a little bit better, in a sense where, we move higher, we use this as a resistance, this is as a support, we break, we retest, and we go higher. We make a double top here, and then we move lower, and then we bounce quite a few times from here. The only thing, if you would target like these highs in here, something, no, actually, I'm going to just put it something like this, right? If you would like try to buy from here and target, these highs, you actually would be taken out,
Mm.
because, just price never moved from here, never went bullish. But yeah, but it's really good to see how we broke, went for a retest, and then went to test these supports. So like to test the support in here as well. And now it looks like we are going towards, something like that. Again, coming in here to this support area. So you better believe me that next week, if the price is here, I'm going to be trying to buy. So we'll see if that's going to happen. But like altogether, I'm just really excited to see that the price action is getting more clearer, and
Mm.
it's it looks so much better. I don't know, just to me it really does. It does look like price is doing something better here. Although
Absolutely.
it can get a bit stressful in the moments like this where it just
Yes.
doesn't push. And that's like frustrates me as a pullback trader. Most of my trades are
Mm.
pullbacks, not continuations. But like this would be a continuation trade where, I short in here, simply because we break this support and this is continuation. But most likely my trades are pullbacks, and it can get frustrating when you're stuck in here. But
Mm.
then I do want to also encourage traders that, if you stick to your plan, if you stick to proper risk management, and you know how to manage those periods when you are in the drawdown where your strategy is not performing, then you will end up on the other side of the road where you will be out of that drawdown, and you will be happy and clapping your hands and tapping your back of doing a great
Yes.
job. So, but yeah, altogether, I'm really, really excited to see how the price is moving. So, and really want to see how we are going to move forward for the next, weeks or so. Especially,
Mm.
I'm really, really excited to see how we're going to end the month. Are we going to go and try for the highs, or are we going to try, go to
Those.
retest these, the lows? So it's going to be really, really interesting to see, because another thing I talked about in webinar was the range, how we trade the
Mm.
range. You can clearly see this is one range, this is another
Mm.
one, right? Then this was created, we didn't stay here for too long, and then we go back into this range. So it's really interesting to see how the price is going to move forward. But yeah, but then though, saying that, this is the easy part of just like putting the
Yes.
arrows on, putting the zones on. But when it actually comes to entry, that's where the skill comes in. That's where your personality is, like who you are as a trader, starts to take place, and you become something in the market. So, but I think with that, with this, I don't know, almost like philosophical like thing, we can finish off the Friday. So,
Ending
thank
it
you so much
good.
everyone who joined us. It was great. Thanks, David, for showing the, your wee wap. David is just making me do the tongue twist all the time. Wee wap.
Should name it something else.
Yeah, need to name it something else. Debate approach. That's much better. But no, thank you so much for joining, guys. Me and Debate, we might be here next week as well. Might not. Who knows? The baby's coming. Who
2 weeks
knows,
though.
right? The baby's coming. But we might be here. We might not. But guys, just a reminder from myself is to enjoy your weekend, switch off, do your
Mm,
weekly review, look what you have been through this week, and if you have had like a harder time, just take time off and try and go and figure out what is it that's causing that trouble, where you're in. Is it your risk management? Is it your
yes.
strategy? I think it's just really, really important to reflect on what's going on in the in your trading, um,
Yes.
and do it on the weekly basis. But that's us. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Devet, for being here. Have a
Awesome.
good week.
Thanks, Anna.
Right. Okay. Have a good
Okay.
weekend. Hopefully the sun is coming your way.
Yay.
Yay, sunshine. Let's go. Right, guys. Take care and we'll see you after. Bye.